Good morning. And the question I want to ask this morning is, are Sony really that far ahead of Xbox as far as exclusive content is concerned? And the answer to that question is, yeah. I know the echo in the comments is, yeah. Everyone's saying, yeah. And the reality is that currently, I would say it's probably the case. And, you know, we always hear whenever there's a conversation about the two platform holders, eventually somebody, usually sooner rather than later, will come out and say, Xbox has no games. And I actually think that's a little bit over-egging of the pudding. I do think Xbox does have games, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I don't think it can be argued that Sony has had the best in terms of their platform exclusives, the games that they're putting out. And if you can see here, I've got Metacritic up. And I'm set to the year 2015. And the reason I'm set to 2015 is because I think that 2015 was really the year when Sony began to hit their stride in this current generation. Before that, from 2013 to up to 2015, neither of the platform holders really gave us a great deal to write home about. And I'd actually say that Microsoft in that time probably had the slight edge in terms of what they were offering. But it wasn't, you know, there wasn't a lot to to show between them, if you like. But in 2015, Sony really showed us what they were going for because they gave us Bloodborne. And that was a 92 score on Metacritic. And for a lot of people, the best game of the year. Not really to my taste, but one of my friends has completely platformed it, loves the game, and I know a lot of people who love the game, and no one can argue with the quality of it. So Sony at that point were laying down a marker. This is the kind of quality we're going for. And what did we get from Xbox that year? Well, if we go to Xbox for 2015, and it loads up eventually, there it is. You can see a lot of this is multi-plats, but we go down to on 88 score is Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, obviously, I think Ori's more of a niche game. It's not sort of a big hitter, but it is a good game. Xbox also gave us Forza Motorsport that year, Forza Motorsport 6, which again is an 87, so that scored quite well. And then on 84... we got Rare Replay, which was a bloody good package. And on 84 as well, we got Halo 5 Guardians. And on 82, Gears Ultimate, which is obviously a reissue, a remake, if you like, remaster, however you want to look at it. And that was actually good, but it was a remaster. So, you know, I don't know whether you could count that or not. But it does show that at that time, Microsoft was still putting out, you know, some quality and some quantity as well in 2015. So Sony hadn't really gone very far ahead at that point, as far as I could tell anyway. But then if we go to 2016 and we go to the PlayStation 4, and it's taken a while to load up again because it's slow this morning for some reason. There you go. We can see straight away they hit us with Uncharted 4 Thief's End. 93 score on Metacritic. Now, this was actually one of my favourite games of the year. In fact, I think at the time I actually said it was my favourite game of the year. And I wouldn't argue with myself from back in 2016. It was a great game. We also got Ratchet and Clank, which was on 85. Let's go down a bit. 85, where are you? Ratchet and Clank. It'll be here somewhere. Ratchet and Clank, there it is. Ratchet and Clank on 85, so they gave us that. And we also got The Last Guardian on 82. So let's just pull down to 82 and The Last Guardian. So again, with The Last Guardian, I think that one was more of a niche, a fan favourite, if you like. I don't think it would have had the numbers of something like Uncharted. Certainly not. I mean, Uncharted is a mainstream heavy hitter and a great game to boot. What did we get from Xbox that year, though? Well, if we move across, let's just go up here. Oh, flame it now. Adverts, love adverts. If we go to the Xbox, can't even speak straight, we find, where are we? if we go down to 91, Forza Horizon 3. Again, I really like the Forza games, and I know some people get a bit pissy about racing games, but Forza Horizon 3 is definitely a top quality example of the racing genre. And I would say this is one area where Microsoft actually have given us better games than Sony. Their racing games in this generation have been superb, with some caveats. But Forza Horizon 3 was absolutely amazing. And yeah, I still play that game. Unfortunately, they've taken it off the store, but we'll get into that another day. On 84, if we go down, let's just go down a bit quicker this time. 84, we got Gears 4. So again, Microsoft are giving us some good games that year. And okay, look, some people might argue Gears 4 isn't up to Uncharted's level. I actually enjoyed it a lot. And then on 77, if we go down, and I think this is a travesty that this is on 77. If I can find it, if I've gone past it already, nope, there it is. Quantum Break. Now, for me, Quantum Break is possibly the most underrated game of this generation. And I know a lot of people are going to argue with me on that, probably people who've never played the bloody thing. But I've actually completed this game 3 times, I think, and enjoyed every minute of it. I think it's a great game. I think it's got a good story. And yeah, as I say, one of the most underrated games of the generation. Again, is it up there with Uncharted 4? Well, for me personally, I enjoyed it as much as Uncharted 4, but I wouldn't argue that Uncharted 4 was the better game. So anyway, look, this serves to illustrate again, Microsoft at that point weren't all that far behind Sony. And it puts a kind of lie to this idea that Microsoft weren't putting out any decent exclusives. And then we go to 2017. And let's go to PlayStation again. So, PlayStation in 2017. Let's have a look. First thing you see is Persona 5. Obviously, that's a heavy hitter. Not really to my taste. These aren't really my type of game. But again, you can't argue that this is a top game. All the people I know who played this say it's fantastic. 93. I was going to say you can't argue with a 93 score. You can. I don't always agree with these scores, as with Quantum Break. But it does give you an idea. And so that was a good game that year. We also got some other heavy hitters this year on, where are we? 89. Let's go up a bit. 89. Horizon Zero Dawn we got. And I actually think 89 is probably too low. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a phenomenal game. I actually haven't finished it. The reason I haven't finished it is because my save file got corrupted. And so I had to start again. But I do think it's one of the best games of the year. Probably my favourite game that year. On 88, if we go down... Oh, What Remains of Edith Finch. That was a multi-plat, but that was one of my favourite games of the year. Play that. Play Edith Finch. Don't care what platform you're on. Play Edith Finch. We've got Nier Automata. Now, that's an interesting one because Nier Automata illustrates one of the issues here. And Nier Automata was a timed exclusive for Sony. And Sony have been doing a lot of this with these timed exclusives. So, you know, everyone was going on at the time, oh, Nier Automata only on the PlayStation. But it did come to Xbox later on. So it wasn't really an exclusive. Neo, a bit more of a niche game. From what I understand, people who played it, great game, but tough. So not really a mainstream audience. And we also got on 84, if we go down a bit, let's go all the way down here. Blimey, how many are on 84? We've got Lost Legacy, but I'm not really going to talk about that too much. I haven't played that myself. Grant, who I do podcasts with sometimes, he's played this. He reckons it's really good. But it is really kind of DLC. It's a bit like Miles Morales, isn't it? These things probably were originally conceived as DLC, and they went on to be a standalone release. So that was what we got from PlayStation in 2017. But what did we get from Xbox that year? Well, when it moves across, I don't know why this has been so slow. Right, so 2017 Xbox. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention is with the PlayStation in 2017, we got Hellblade as well. And that's another one that illustrates one of the points I want to make here. Because with Hellblade, we got it on PlayStation, But anyone who's paying attention knows that Ninja Theory is now owned by Microsoft. So the next Hellblade is going to be an Xbox game. So can you see the pattern here? You know, we've got Sony buying timed exclusives, which eventually come to Xbox. And then we've got other timed exclusives, some of which are now going to be Xbox exclusives, you know, moving down the line. So there is a kind of shift going on. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a shift. But anyway, let's talk about what we got from Xbox that year. If we go down to 86, because most of these are multi-plats, let's have a look. 86, Cuphead. We got Cuphead. Again, I don't think Cuphead, great game. A lot of people love it. Too bloody hard in my view. but then I'm crap. But kind of a niche game, not really your big hitter. I know it sold bloody well, and it's on Switch now as well. But it was a Microsoft exclusive or an Xbox exclusive when it first came out. Good game, great game. Loved the aesthetic and the music and all the rest of it. But would you say it's one of the mainstream? I don't know. But we also got on 86. We got Forza Motorsport 7. Again, I'll say it again. Xbox do better with racing games currently. This generation, they've done a lot better than Sony have, I would say. And the Forza games, whether it's be Motorsport or Horizon, they're phenomenal. I did have some issues with Motorsport 7 because, well, there were some issues with microtransactions, but we won't get into that here. That's for another video, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of my videos on microtransactions. And then if we go down to 79, all the way down here, let's see, where are we? That's 80, so it's a bit further down. Halo Wars. This year we got Halo, I think we got Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. We got the definitive edition of Halo Wars and then Halo Wars 2 on 79. So, you know, you can see that Microsoft are putting out exclusives in all these years so far. It's just that they're not quite up there with the quality of something like Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, those kind of games that are, you know, held by critics and fans alike to be, you know, the top of their game, if you like, if you excuse the term. But yeah, so let's just move back on to, well, let's move to 2018 and see what we got in 2018. So 2018, first thing you see is Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a multi-plat. And then, oh, this is Xbox. It would be the same for PlayStation as well. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, 97. But the first one for Sony that's an exclusive, certainly this is a Sony-made exclusive, is God of War. Now, I don't suppose many people out there would argue that God of War isn't a top game and a heavy hitter. And for me, one of the games of the year. If you go down a bit, though, you get to 91 and Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus, kind of, again, I would say that's a fan favourite. I wouldn't necessarily put that in the big hitters department. Some people might argue with me, but yeah, we can maybe get into that in the comments. But if you go down to 87, let's see, where are we? 87, Spider-Man. Now, I said about God of War being one of my favourite games that year. Spider-Man, actually, if I'm being honest, was probably my actual favourite game of the year. I really enjoyed that game, played it with a big smile on my face. But this illustrates another issue with Sony. If you look at what's going on with Spider-Man Miles Morales now, there is a certain amount of anti-consumerism going on within Sony. And Spider-Man illustrates that. Miles Morales is coming out. If you buy I think it's the special edition of Miles Morales, you get Spider-Man with it. The problem is that you can't buy that separately as a standalone. So if you didn't want Miles Morales, you can't go out and buy the uprated version of Spider-Man for the next generation consoles, which is, you know, a bit of a problem as far as I'm concerned. But the other thing as well is the save game from Spider-Man. If you've already played Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4, the save game isn't coming across to the PlayStation 5. And, these are little things, but it just shows, come on, Sonny, you know, make a bit more of an effort. I know this is kind of off the main topic here, but it does show, again, it's showing a shift. If we look at the start of this generation, Sony were the ones who were saying, how do you share your games? Oh, you just hand them the game and stuff like this. They were making all the pro-consumer moves, whereas Microsoft were being, very anti-consumer. And it's completely shifted as we're moving into the next generation. As these new consoles are coming out in November, we're seeing that Microsoft are the ones that are trying to be pro-consumer, whereas Sony, not so much. But anyway, that's 2018 for Sony. What did we get from Microsoft that year for the Xbox? Come on. There you go. Again, Red Dead Redemption. First one we see, 92, Forza Horizon 4. So, it's been a mainstay for Xbox that nearly every year they've had a Forza game, and that's kind of helped them along a bit. And I know, as I said before, some people get pissy about racing games, but I do think it's a great game. And then, as I mentioned before, this year on 88, because it got a higher score for the Xbox for some reason. Still a great game. I played it on the PlayStation, didn't finish it because I lost my save game for that as well. Finished it on the Xbox. And that's Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Again, what I said before, that came to the PlayStation first, came to the Xbox later on. But now it's owned by Microsoft. Ninja Theory is owned by Microsoft. So, sorry, Sony guys, but you're not going to get the next Hellblade on the PlayStation 5. So, yeah, other than that, though, there wasn't a great deal coming from Xbox in 2018. And it didn't get a lot better for 2019 either. So let's have a look. It's actually getting worse as time goes on. I don't know if you noticed that. But if we go to PlayStation 4 first, when you look at PlayStation 4 on 82, let's just go down on 80, where are we? 82, there you go, 82. What we got? What am I looking for? There you go, Death Stranding. Now, Death Stranding is another interesting one because I think this shows also a shift. If you look at what Microsoft have been doing, they've been bringing all their games to the PC. And Death Stranding, nobody I think would argue that Death Stranding is a quality game. Whether it's to your taste or not is another matter. But it's also come to PC. And we saw this with Horizon Zero Dawn as well, coming to PC. And I think this also illustrates a shift. I think Microsoft have set the groundwork. They're putting all their games on PC, more or less day and date with the Xbox. And, there are some, games that don't do that. But for the most part, the games are coming to PC and Xbox. And we're seeing now that it's happening a bit more with PlayStation. And I think this is going to happen more and more. Why would Sony leave cash on the table when they can move these games across to PC? They'll probably come to PlayStation first for the time being and then come to PC later. But they are going to come, a lot more of these games, I would imagine, are going to come to PC. And again, I know I keep saying it, but this shows to me that Microsoft are setting the agenda now. And that's a complete turnaround from the start of this current generation. Sony was setting the agenda. Microsoft tried to and failed dismally. Sony set the agenda, Sony set the tone, and they got the sales, and they got the cachet for it as well. People were saying, Sony are the best place to play. And that is changing. I do think it's changing. However, what else did we get from Sony in 2019? Not a great deal. We got Concrete Genie on 75. Where are we? 75. Oh, excuse me. We're going to have to go to the next page. Come on, load up. There you go. Where are we? 75. Yeah. Where is it? There you go. Concrete Genie. I bought this, haven't played it. It's supposed to be very, very good. I keep intending to play it, but I just haven't got around to it yet. But yeah. Not a big game, no. A lot of people haven't even heard of it. I had 2 copies because I accidentally bought a second copy, and I said to my mate, "Do you want Concrete Genie?" He said, "Oh, what the hell's that?" I gave it to him. No, don't know if he's played it. But the other one was on 71. Was back in down here into the orange. 71 Days Gone. One of the few mishits from Sony, and 71's not a bad score, but it didn't get the kind of plaudits that some of their other games like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War got. So I do know some people, Serb, who's over on my Discord channel, he really loves this game, but it didn't do so well. And this illustrates a point that Sully was making the other day. Again, relating to Sony. If they say next generation, next year perhaps, they come out and they bring out a couple of games that don't hit home in the same way that Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War have. Imagine if they bring 2 games out, because that's pretty much what they're doing. They're bringing out 2 heavy hitters every year, roughly. And so they don't bring out anything that really hits home. Well, then they don't look quite so good, do they? And then if Microsoft come out and they drop a couple of top quality games from, say, Bethesda, and they come out and they're exclusives, then we start to see another shift in the market, and Microsoft start to look a lot better and Sony start to look a lot worse. And Sony made the point, they only have to do this 2 years running and the bottom could drop out and people start looking at the Xbox as a better option. But so anyway, 2019, PlayStation didn't look that great. You had Death Stranding and Days Gone, which are okay. Death Stranding came to PC, Days Gone, okay. But what did the Xbox give us? Well, that wasn't great either. In fact, it was worse, surprisingly. If we go down, what was it? 85. Where are we? Outer Worlds. Now, Outer Worlds is a multi-platform game. But again, this illustrates another point. Obsidian, who make the Outer Worlds, now owned by Microsoft. So what do you think is going to happen with the next Outer Worlds game if we see it? I think that will probably be an Xbox exclusive. And again, this illustrates the kind of shift that I'm talking about here. We're slowly seeing a shift back over, the pendulum's moving back towards Microsoft. Again, in 2019, they didn't have a great deal else either, though. 84, if we go down to 84, where are we? Gears 5. Now, I actually think Gears 5 was a great game. My favourite game last year, actually, I would say, probably. So, I don't know, you can argue with me on that one. Maybe you preferred Death Stranding, maybe you preferred Days Gone. I really enjoyed Gears last year. So I don't think it was much to write home about for anything, really, from either of the platform holders last year. But I think Gears just about edged it. So, again, we're seeing that Sony are ahead, but are they as far ahead as people are like to say? Are they really so far, beyond what Microsoft is doing? I'm not sure they are. I mean, I would say if you're looking at Gears, it's probably not up there with something like Horizon Zero Dawn or, games like that. But it is a top quality game and I thoroughly enjoyed playing it. And I'm sure a lot of other people would. So, sometimes with these things, it's a matter of choice. And I do think some of the Sony guys over-egg the pudding. They go on a bit too much about how far ahead Sony are. But that brings us to 2020. And let's go to PlayStation first. And you've got Persona Royale at the top here. But on 93, we got The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I know this was controversial, but The Last of Us Part 2 is a quality game. Whether you like the story, whether you like some of the SJW stuff, that's up to you. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I was quite happy with the storyline. I think the storyline in the previous game was better. But the actual mechanics in the game, the atmosphere, the environment, the map design, all top quality, all top class. And then we had, on 89, we had Dreams. Where is it? 89, we had Dreams. I would say Dreams a bit more of a niche. Some people love it. I mean, it looks like the sort of thing that my kid could get into. I bought it. I still haven't put it in the PlayStation, to be honest, but I bought it. I was hoping my lad would have a look at it, but he's been into Minecraft and latterly Rocket League again, so he hasn't looked at it, and he doesn't like the PlayStation controller, so trying to get him to play stuff on the PlayStation is quite difficult. But anyway, that's for another day. The other one, on 85, we go down to 85, we've got Neo, or Neo 2. Now, I forgot to mention Neo earlier. The first Neo, the kind of hardcore games for hardcore gamers, for the people who really like a challenge. So again, I'm not sure that that's a kind of mainstream thing. But then the other big hitter, and I'm surprised actually this is down here on 83, is, where is it? Ghost of Tsushima, or Tsushima. And so some really good games coming out this year so far. We've got Last of Us Part 2, Dreams, Neo 2, Ghosts of Tsushima. Those two, Last of Us Part 2 and Ghosts of Tsushima. Blimey, I can't even speak this morning. Those two games are really, really top quality. And we haven't had a great deal from Microsoft this year. If we go into Xbox One, and where are we? First thing you see, 90, Ori. Again, is it the kind of mainstream hit that you would, compare it against something like The Last of Us Part 2? I'm not sure you would. Great game by all accounts. It's not really my thing. I love the aesthetic of it. I think it's beautiful. But would I pick it over The Last of Us Part 2? No, I wouldn't. Would I pick it over Ghost of Tsushima? Well, I don't know, because I don't own Ghost of Tsushima. It's on my birthday list, and I'm hoping to get it when my birthday comes round fairly soon. But I think it's a phenomenal game. But it's up to you. I mean, you can make your mind up on that. 84, if we go down to 84, where are we? Wasteland 3. Now, this one is another one that's really interesting because it's come out as a multi-platform. And that was already due to come out as a multi-platform. And then Microsoft went and bought In Exile. So we're seeing this thing. Microsoft have bought the studio that makes the game. So Wasteland 4, is that going to be a PlayStation game? Is that going to come out for the PlayStation as well? I don't think it will. Honestly, if they make a Wasteland 4, it will probably just be an Xbox exclusive. And it'll certainly be on Game Pass. And so, again, I think this illustrates a shift in the market. We go down again. I mean, we could spend all day on this. There's a fair few that came out this year that aren't really that much to write home about. Not really big heavy hitters. Tell Me Why. Looks interesting. 76, we've got Journey to the Savage Planet, which is a multi-plat. I don't know why I listed this here. I thought it was made by a Microsoft studio, but I'm not. Somebody tell me in the comments. I'm not entirely sure about that one. And then things like Carrion, which is also coming to PC and Switch. And then on 72, if we go down, 72, where are we? Where is it? Oh, 71. Where's 70? Ah, there you go, Battletoads. Didn't really get the plaudits, did it? Haven't played it. I'm sure some people like it. And then on 66, I don't think Ninja Theory did quite as well with this one as they were hoping. 66, where are you? 66. Oh yeah, Bleeding Edge. So again, from PlayStation this year, we got Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, and from Microsoft we got Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and yeah, not a lot else, frankly. But, and I think this is something that I need to say before we finish. This shift does appear to be happening. You've got things like smart delivery on Xbox that are showing that Xbox is a nicer place to buy your games in some ways than the PlayStation. You've got Cyberpunk 2077 coming out, and if you buy it on the Xbox One and you want to play it on the Xbox Series X when you get it, it'll play on the Xbox Series X and you'll get the uprated graphics and it'll be the better version. That's the way Microsoft are rolling now. And with Game Pass and a lot of these games, certainly their first party coming to Game Pass, and then you've got, 28 quid a month to get an Xbox Series X and Game Pass for 2 years. It's looking good. And then with the Bethesda acquisition, and I would say, people are arguing, and I know people are saying, these games won't come to just Xbox, they're going to come to PlayStation as well. A lot of them won't, I don't think they will. I think Microsoft buys Bethesda because they want to put their games day and date on Game Pass and make Game Pass the place to play. I can hardly say that one. So yeah, I think, yes, the simple answer is that Sony are ahead of Microsoft. And we could talk about that all day long. But the longer answer is that things are shifting. And we could see a couple of years down the line that Microsoft are actually putting out more first party than Sony, and quality as well. Whether that comes to be the case, I don't know. But it's certainly an interesting one to think about. But anyway, look, that's me done. I don't know what you guys think about this one. Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all the rest of it, and share with your friends and whatnot, because YouTube hate people like me. And I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea because I'm losing my voice. And I will speak to you guys in the next one. Bye.